Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, June 1st. Yes, it's June 1st. It's the 97th day of the Omer, and it's hard to believe that it's June already, which means that we will have gone March, April, May, and now into the month of June without being in shul. But Baruch Hashem, the end is in sight, and later today we will be issuing forth a letter with some guidelines about how we will re-enter into the davening sphere here at shul, and that will be followed by a town hall meeting, which presidents and I will address the congregation. That will be on Tuesday evening, so we can prepare for Thursday, June 4th in the morning to have our first service. And as I've mentioned in the past, we have to kind of work out the kinks. We have to see how things go. So we're going to do Thursday and Friday. We will not have Shabbos services in the daytime. We'll resume Sunday, and hopefully by next week, and hopefully some of the regulations will change and be more user-friendly for us, as it were. But again, all that will be covered in the coming weeks. So please look out for that information. Please continue to daven for Refuah Shalema for Mordechai ben Elka, Rabbi Zev ben Rickel, Gittel bas Sarah, Noah Alice Batlilach Esther, Razel bas Sarah, and all those who need a Refuah Shalema. I'm sure that in the midst of the craziness that we find ourselves in the world, not just the pandemic, but also the events that are unfolding all over the country, which are rather unfortunate, but perhaps something that might have been lost in all of that news cycle is that the Jewish community lost a tremendous figure yesterday with the loss and the passing of Rabbi Norman Lamm. Rabbi Dr. Lamm was the president and chancellor of Yeshiva University. He was the rabbi of the Jewish Center and the west side of Manhattan, and one of the most preeminent rabbanim, rabbis, teachers, figures in all of Jewish life and in the world for many years. I'll tell you an interesting vignette that I had actually with Rabbi Lamm. So a number of years ago, through Yeshiva University and another university, I forgot what it was, Rabbi Lamm wrote down all of his sermons, and they published all of his sermons. And anybody who appreciates sermons, if you never heard him speak, by the way, then you never heard a good speaker. He was a tremendous orator, but a tremendous writer as well. These speeches were later, many of them put into 5 volumes that appear on Chumash, which you could easily buy from Maggid Books. But they're published online, and of course I dove right in. As many rabbis, many of my colleagues, then we look at it and it's like finding gold. That's how beautiful these are, and so much so that even if you'll remember that when we just had Yizkor the other day, I quoted Rabbi Lamm from exactly one of those speeches. And the time was, it has to be about 8 years ago, because my oldest is now 20, and at the time of her bat mitzvah, I took a Dvar Torah, a sermon that he gave on Purim, and I adapted it and used it for her bat mitzvah speech. So I came across Rabbi Lamm at the Jewish Center at an event or whatever it was, and I went over to him and I said, "Rebbe, thank you," and I just said how much I appreciated the fact that the sermons were available, and I explained how I used it for my daughter's bat mitzvah speech and how meaningful it was for her and for the community. And he looked at me with such humility and he just said, "I just hope and I'm glad that somebody's reading it." That's how simple he was, and he just wanted to spread Torah and spread ideas, and of course writing the book Torah Umada and many other books which are available. So Rabbi Norman Lamm, Zichrono Livracha, and it's a great loss for Klal Yisrael, and it's someone who will be sorely missed. And Rabbi Norman Lamm passed away yesterday. The dedication that we have this week, before I get to, I just wanted to wish a belated happy birthday over Shavuos. Our chair, one of our co-chairs of our youth department, Samantha Migdal, celebrated her birthday, very much in Fauda style. Happy birthday, Samantha. And this week, for the sponsor, which thank God the sponsorships are still coming in, I think the next available spot we have is in the end, I think June 12th. June 12th might be the next available spot. But if you have graduations, yard sites, birthdays, anything coming up, please let us know. And it's a great way to support your shul during this time. So popular that it was that actually this week we have a sponsor for the whole week. And the sponsor this week comes from very dear friends of ours. Most people here probably do not know them, but someone that I am very, very privileged to have known in my life, Ellie and Stephen Hammerman, who live in Arizona. Now, I'll just tell you a little bit about them, that Ellie and Stephen used to live in Atlantic Beach, and Stephen was the president of the Jewish Center of Atlantic Beach, who, I don't know, 18 years ago, yeah, about 18, 19 years ago, it was on Shavuos when I had my tryout, and he rolled the dice. He took a gamble on a young kid who's an aspiring rabbi, and from there grew a wonderful relationship. Stephen was, before then, was a CEO in a little-known company called Merrill Lynch, and then he decided to follow his true passion, which was police work, and he was the Deputy Commissioner of Legal Affairs for a small police department in New York City known as the NYPD. Since then, Ellie and Steve have retired, and they've moved to Arizona full-time, where they ride horses and do all the fun stuff, begging me to go out there, but, you know, I don't stray far from the farm, I'm sorry. And I've had the pleasure of seeing their family grow and officiate at weddings and see children born and grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So Ellie and Stephen, we've been regular watchers of our features, and he wanted to sponsor this week, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to say, but the sponsorship is, he said, in honor of Sarah and in honor of me. And really, I honor you with this, because I'm forever grateful that, you know, you took a chance on us, but also that we've had a relationship that has grown so much over these years. Steve actually always used to say to me, and rightly so, he would say, "Rabbi, you're okay. You want to leave, that's fine, but we're keeping Sarah." My sentiments exactly. By the way, that's not a bad idea. So one of the things that we always used to enjoy studying was Perek Avos. Every Shabbos afternoon, we had a class in Perek Avos, Ethics of the Fathers. And then since Ellie and Steve are sponsoring this week, I think it's appropriate to continue our study of Perek Avos, and also to use something that came into my hands right before Pesach, and that is these few pages, which I referred to once before, Evan Shasia, but it's actually a manuscript on Perek Avos with commentary from Rabbi Lamm. So how appropriate that we should study with Rabbi Lamm right after his passing. So we're going to go back to chapter 2, and we saw this Mishnah a while back, but it's worth repeating, but I'm going to focus on a different part of the Mishnah. Rabbi Omer, Ezehu derech yishara she'yavar lo ha'adam, kol shehi tiferes lo oseh v'tiferes lo min ha'adam. What is the straight path that a person should choose for himself? Whichever path is honorable for the person adopting it and brings honor from other people. Rabbi Lamm has his own take on this. What does it mean, bringing honor from his own people? What does tiferes mean? And he says there are 3 Hebrew words that can best spell out what Jewish grandeur is. Each represents another aspect of the elusive but very real quality. Combined, they represent the Jewish definition of grandeur. The first word is tiferet. We might loosely translate that as dignity. There can be no grandeur without a sense of dignity. Of course, dignity has certain external manifestations, certain outer appearances that enhance it. But the dignity of tiferet is also expressed in an inner quality, which ultimately proves far more important. Rabbi said, what's the right path a person should choose for himself? And he says, whatever is tiferet lo oseha, tiferes lo min ha'adam. Gives dignity to him who does it, and appears dignified from his fellow men. Rabbi Lamm says, no, he looks at it in a little bit differently. And this is very different from many of the classic interpretations. And that's the beauty of Perkei Avos, is that we have Shivim Panim LaTorah, 70 faces, different ways we can interpret things. The right way a man ought to choose, the way of grandeur, certainly includes Tiferes Lo Oseha. It gives an air of dignity, a dignified atmosphere, to whoever acts in the proper manner. But of far more crucial significance is Tiferet Lo Min Ha'adam, the dignity that comes from the inner self, that issues min ha'adam, not other people, but min ha'adam, from the person himself, from one's true humanliness. True tiferet, real dignity, is intimately associated with one's inwardness, with his uniqueness. True tiferet is achieved when man fulfills his ability to be himself. True grandeur comes when a man or a people realizes self-worthiness. Tiferet, the grandeur of dignity, must always issue min ha'adam, from the deepest resources of selfhood. If we are to achieve the grandeur implied by Tiferet, it means that we must not adopt the standards of others because they happen to be most popular. It means, rather, that we must live up to our own destiny. The grandeur of Tiferet is not a matter of posture, but of perception, not demeanor, but destiny. When a human being remembers that his real self, his true self, is Tselem Elokim, the image of God, in which he was created, and he strives to live up to that image, then Tiferet Lo Min Hadam, then he has achieved grandeur. I learned so much from Ellie and Stephen over the years, and I continue to learn from them. And much of it was, it's not about what everyone else is doing, but it's about bringing out the purpose in which God has put you on this earth. And they gave me the opportunity so many years ago to be on the right path, for me to choose the path to fulfill my purpose, which I know why I was put here on this earth. So thank you again for your sponsorship this week. And really, it should be an honor of you, not an honor of us. And we look forward to studying Torah together for many, many years to come, albeit from far away. And again, may the neshama of Rabbi Norman Lamm have an aliyah, and in the zechus of our learning his Torah, again, we should all see better days, and I will see everyone tomorrow.